All right, we are live. Welcome to today's live stream, everybody. This is our mission briefing for In the Black, Impeller's hardcore space combat simulator based on Newtonian physics. I'm joined here with our fantastic game director, studio director, Jack Lamias. Hey, Jack. So
Hi.
this week has been kind of mixed, right? Because it's a big holiday week for the United States where most of our developers are. I guess half of our developers are. So this briefing will probably go relatively quick. This is obviously, for those who haven't seen this live stream before, this series, this is our kind of our weekly update on what the team has accomplished this week and what they're focused on next. And we'll touch on any questions we get from the fans. So feel free to post your questions and comments in the chat. It's also my good chance to kind of update myself on how things are going, how we're tracking towards early access. Jack and I will probably talk about that today. So you're hearing the conversation as we're having it. We don't rehearse these. We kind of talk through together and just broadcast it live for everybody. So first, let's get the big kind of question out of the way, which is early access. Our goal, I think Dave is here. Let me bring Dave in when I see his camera on.
Oh, great.
Our goal for early access is to actually launch, as we said when we launched the trailer and in interviews recently, that we want to launch as close to the end or the beginning of the year as possible. The earliest that could have happened is December 5th, which is actually just a few days from now. I'm bringing Dave in. Hey, Dave, how you doing? Yeah, he looks a little confused. Dave, you can hear? Okay, now we can hear you. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you, but
oh, I see a fancy new stick. Is that the sonar?
the Hosas, yeah.
Wait, hold on, before you show it. Are we allowed to show this? This is public hardware, right?
Yeah. Anybody can buy this stuff.
Okay. I just want to make sure. I didn't know if they were giving something early because I haven't seen it yet. All right, we're going to talk about that in a minute. That's super exciting, though. We've talked about last week how we've been engaging with Thrustmaster, a great team. They have some great hardware that are perfect fit for this game. So we'll touch on that in a second. Okay, so we said the earliest that we could release early access is probably December 5th, which is coming up in just a few days. That would be this Friday. Talked to the team over the last few days. There's little to no chance of that happening. Correct, Jack? That's pretty safe to say.
If it went out, it would be rough, and we would not be happy with that because we always strive to do the best stuff we possibly can. So we've made the decision that we've got a number of things we have to fix, and when those things are fixed, then the date will be decided. So
look at Dave. Look at Dave. Dave is so excited about this hardware.
Yeah. So we've waited, as my partner Edmar says, we worked on it this long. We're not going to blow it now.
Yeah, that's right. I think, totally. I think, first of all, thank you for all the fans going back years from our first Kickstarter that was unsuccessful to our second Kickstarter that was successful, and then to all the players after that who joined, including the great group of players we have in our Discord server and that join these streams every week with some hardcore fans always here. So I want to thank everybody for all of that feedback along those many years. And to that point, we want to make sure when this game hits the public marketplace on Steam, we have the demo available now for everybody. But when the early access version, we want to make sure that introduction to the game for all those new players is as solid as possible. And most importantly, the feedback we've gotten is that we need better tutorial and training so players have a really good, first experience when they jump in the cockpit. And that's what Jack and Dave and other developers from the team have been working on. We'll touch on that in a second, but I think we're going to have a meeting tomorrow. The team's going to have a meeting tomorrow, I think around noon Eastern. I'll get an update shortly after that, but the team's going to discuss exactly what are the remaining must-haves for early access launch, and what members of the team need to put in the right hours to get that done, and we'll come up with a date strategy there. I'm hoping, obviously, that we get it up before the end of the year. I think that would be awesome. But like Jack said, I don't want to release anything before it's ready. We only have that one chance at introduction to those new players. So we want to make sure it's as solid as possible, including one of the things the other big piece of feedback we got is I want to make sure that the head tracking works, the eye tracking software we've been working on with Toby and Track IR. We also want to make sure that the joystick support and controller support, as Dave will touch on in a second, that stuff's super solid, and the tutorials. I think those are the main things we want to make sure. I think content-wise, we're in pretty good shape.
Yeah.
I know you're working on some of the missions right now, Jack, right? Like you're working on
Yeah.
Brooks, I think.
Yeah, we're updating art as needed. We're making them load faster. Uh, Really, most of the stuff that we learned from the demo, where that's kind of guiding our hands. Overwhelmingly the joystick stuff was called for, and overwhelmingly we've put most of our efforts towards making that good right now.
Yeah.
We spent significant resources getting eye tracking working. We're testing that this week.
I hear
So
it's 90% done. That's pretty good.
fingers crossed that eye tracking, at least I think at Track IR will be working. Um, we're still trying to make contact with Toby, I think. So we'll see how that goes. Toby, if you're listening, we need some eye trackers.
Yeah. Or maybe they have a team on their side they can help us test, which
That
would
would
be
be
great.
great. And then the tutorial has been updated. We got a new tutorial build this week that teaches fundamentals of combat. And we kind of tack that on to the weapons training that we had before, and that's mostly complete. It needs testing. It needs a little finesse, but that should be good to go. Missions are being cleaned up, and it's all coming together. It's all looking really positive, really good.
That's awesome. That's
Where
great. Yeah.
that's work. Yeah, and special
We
effects are also being worked on.
Yeah, Ryad's our visual effects artist. He's been having trouble lately. I'm looking at the latest report, so he doesn't have anything to show off for this week again.
Yeah.
Because of some material issues. So we're gonna try to find out the bottom of that, because the main concern for me is that I want the cockpit experience to be really immersive, and so I think the effects have good impact there. So we'll see what's causing that blocker. Okay, so we've got. I want to say hello to some people watching. We've got some regulars here and new folks. Thank you all for tuning in.
Hi guys.
Nice comment here from YouTube. The good news is I'm feeling good enough in demo play that I might not trash here release. Well, that's the hope.
Oh my God! Thank you. We'd appreciate some good Steam reviews if you got the time, actually.
And probably even more importantly is that in-game feedback. So if there are any issues you're seeing with the demo, let us know in the feedback. I actually would like to have a report from our team during these live stream briefings on the weekly update, the weekly feedback we've gotten in the summary. So I'm going to talk to our programmer Alex on that, because I think that's a really helpful weekly report, not only for us internally, but it's nice to share, I think, with the fans what kind of feedback we've been seeing. Again, the goal with this team and project is to be as community focused as possible. So I think that kind of transparency is super valuable. All right, so we'll try to get that going for next week. All right, and so we're talking about the hardware. So we had a great call. Actually, I was not on it, but Dave and Jack, I think you were both on it with Thrustmaster.
Yeah.
This team is headquartered in France, right? Are they?
Yeah. I thought I was working with Ubisoft again when we were meeting with them. I was like, hey, is this Ubisoft?
Very French.
Where's the Hugo Wall?
Very French. Yeah. So Dave, that call seemed to have gone really well, right? And they kind of got some stuff in the mail right away to you.
Yeah, very well. Yeah. You want to just grab the image from Discord to show people?
Set up. Yeah. Let me grab that.
The Solar is their new line that's designed for space sims, and you can do the traditional HOTAS or you can do HOSAS. And then,
which means hands on stick and hands on stick and throttle for those of you who don't speak joystick.
Two joysticks.
Like an arcade machine.
Yeah, and
they sent you two joysticks and a throttle.
And a throttle.
Oh, very good. Oh, awesome.
So I'm going to be able to check out all of the configurations that people have been asking about, except for head tracking. I don't have a head tracking.
That's in the QA build now, so you should be able to go through that and pair that up and submit bugs.
But I really like these because there's a ton of inputs that are programmable that you can assign different functions, and that's the drawback with a lot of simpler hardware and with gamepad controllers, is you just don't have enough inputs. If you're doing a sophisticated sim, you can get the basic controls mapped out fine to a gamepad or to a simple joystick. I mean, my first joystick on Secret Weapons of the Luftwaffe had 2 buttons. And with these, there's a total of 88 assignable buttons.
So, Wes,
I
you
like
just happen
that.
to have X-Wing strategy guide and X and Alliance sitting on your desktop like
I
that?
just happened to, yeah.
Inspiration. The great comments coming in while you guys are chatting. I'll buy a hostess only for this game. That's awesome. That's cool. So cool to see. And then on the number,
Talk to Thrustmaster.
and then on the number
Well,
of inputs, here you go. I might not have.
yeah, well, back in the day on X-Wing, it was not hardly anybody had throttles. They had the sticks, and so we mapped out the keyboard, like all of it.
All of it plus control, all of it,
and then
plus
control
all of it,
plus
and
alt
shift,
plus shift. And a lot of those controls, they're just like, why not? Let's just add this. It makes life easier if you can remember what that hotkey is. But if you got really good at it, and I did, then it's just like you see anybody manipulating complex gear. Watch a pilot in the cockpit of an actual jet. They're flipping knobs and switches. It's the training kicks in the years and years and years of practice.
Well, very cool. I think it's going to be really, really impactful for the game. I know that it's just so immersive for players who have those setups. So I'm very excited to see that progress. So obviously, not only are we testing the hardware, but there's a lot of work going on in the back end. We talked about this on a couple of live streams now. A big overhaul that Noah Brewster, lead engineer on our team, has been working on to make sure that everyone can control and map and everything's saved correctly, and pedals are working. So I think he's pretty close to that. I also see a quick note from Robert here on YouTube regarding Toby. It requires a lot of UI and tweaking work in the game, whereas the best way to implement classic track, open track, is to not do anything with data, but just to map it exactly one-to-one. Yeah, so we'll see. I think we're probably going to need some help from the players, actually, as we implement this stuff in the game to help us with those settings and how to optimize them. So we'll probably, if you have a track IR or the Toby unit, definitely let us know if you're open to having giving some feedback to the developers. That would be super helpful.
I mean, we'll put it out there. I don't think we're going to be feature rich when it ships. It's just going to let you eye track. So, if people want other things, then you can start inputting that on your F8 inside the game and tell us, and we'll track it, and we'll track it. And then we'll see about, making a list of stuff we can get to when we can get to it.
Yeah. Nice comment here coming in from YouTube. My favorite thing about Hostess is how much of an exercise in muscle memory it is, which is where the immersion comes from. I totally agree. Dave, I can see that's going to be pretty awesome. So those sticks are identical, right?
Yeah, they're just mirrored. So you have the right and left hand, and traditionally 6 degrees of freedom, mapping the attitude controls, the roll controls, forward and back thrust, translation controls, having that all just instantly there, and being able to look around independently from where you're pointing the ship. And then, of course, all the targeting controls, engine controls, everything's there. It's at your fingertips. That's the idea. So you don't have, because back in the day, I had one hand resting over the keyboard and one hand on the stick.
I'm going to actually bring up, I want to see if, so you said these are available for purchase now, right? What's the model called?
Solar, the 2 stick setup is called Solar 2. Solar 4 is the throttle and stick setup.
Okay, cool. I'm going to go right to the, here.
Can we see what the throttle looks like?
I have to.
You don't have it in this picture.
Yeah, because it's still in the box. I wanted to start with the twin stick setup.
All right, let me see if I can. I'm going to stop sharing this screen for a second. I think I got the other page up. Let me see if this looks like. I'm going to share the website from Thrustmaster so we can all take a look at it together, because I have not seen this myself yet.
So I'll do my first unboxing video.
Hey, there you go. Hey, unboxing video. Here we go. You saw it here first.
Here's the website, though. Okay, so that's the stick. Space is yours. So this is on the Thrustmaster website. Sol R1 flight stick. That's what Dave has in his desk right now. You have this set. So there's a left hand and right hand model.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Wow.
interesting.
Yeah. Packaging is really nice.
Oh, let me switch screens here. Let me move mine. Oh yeah, cool. Yep.
It came double boxed for extra safety.
Nice.
There is the throttle.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's cool. Nice.
Ooh, that's tiny.
Yeah, and this is it doesn't have all of the inputs that the sticks have. So this would be definitely great for traditional flight sim. But I think if you're doing a space sim, you probably want to go for the dual sticks.
Very cool.
Well, I mean, in our game, we actually have a stick and throttle. That's what I'd use. But I like mouse and keyboard. Actually, I can play just fine using mouse and keyboard. So it's.
And you're even going to stuff. You're having a good time playing on the Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, I prefer it on the Steam Deck now because I can sit on my couch in my living room and kick
That's
back
awesome.
and test on it. It's really fun on the Steam Deck. And I
now
mean,
I
that
need to
almost
get
came
one.
for free. It just because we had done work on the gamepad stuff. So
Mhm.
when we did the Steam Deck, we just had to make a few minor changes for that unit, and it's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, very cool.
I want to get the bigger Steam Deck. I got the lower. I want to get the LED one or LCD one because that one looks awesome.
Let's see a comment from Robert here. That throttle, it has an analog finger stick at the front. It's fine for vertical, horizontal. Very cool, man. Yeah, I like it. It's a cool color too. I haven't seen white flight sticks before.
Yeah, they usually have black stuff, which is
Mhm.
interesting. I guess it's their space vibe. Maybe they sold some to Elon Musk for the Dragon.
So you can customize the colors on the buttons? Looks like.
It looks like it.
Yeah, it looks like you have. Is it LED lighting on the buttons? That's pretty cool. If so,
You could always do that on their throttle.
Very
With
cool.
their
Well, listen,
tracker.
I'm very
Right.
thankful that we're
Yeah.
working directly with Thrustmaster.
Thank you, Thrustmaster.
Yeah, thanks, Thrustmaster. It'll really help us make sure we're supporting that hardware the best. And thank you, Dave, for taking on the ownership of that relationship. Super helpful.
Yeah, you got to because I got mouse and keyboard and Steam Deck, so you're gonna have to take the the throttles and
I'm
the
going to be
pedals
having
and
a blast
stuff.
with
You're the
these.
man,
I can't wait.
and you wanted it, so you
Yep.
got it, baby.
Here's a question. Here's a great question, actually. I noticed there's an ejection button listed in the inputs. What will the injection be used for in the game? If you're allowed to say more, of course.
When you run
It's
out of
mostly
propellant?
when you get frustrated.
Right, but what's the gameplay ramifications of ejecting?
Well, it
just
depends on the gameplay mode, but assuming that there are respawns, then ejecting basically just puts you back in a new ship.
Yeah.
If there are no respawns, I don't think you would really want to eject.
You end the map. You end the
Yeah.
map. We're not penalizing stuff for ejection yet.
Yet.
We had some good ideas though.
Well, we may let if you can get picked up by an enemy, there
Yeah.
could be a ransom involved,
See,
right?
I
you
think
could kill the pilot, if he's floating around.
There you go. I think there's such a cool gameplay mechanic that can come result of these ejections because I think so. What's the idea? So the pilot is basically in like an escape pod, right? Is that the
or just
yeah, in the
in their
Reyes
suit?
and the Reyes and the Pegasus, yes. And the Hyperion, Calibri, and Shrike, it's just popping you. Your suit is armored and it's radio. It's an armored suit, so it's a space suit. You can survive in space for a little while.
Look at this. That's awesome. Oh no, I'm sorry, I was laughing at the wrong one. Ransom for snipers are.
Yeah, if Sniper even bothers, I mean, he's just a killer.
He never needs to eject.
He never ejects. He's a monster.
But some of the gameplay stuff that can happen as a result, like imagine how cool it'd be if you're seeing ejections happen, right? Either from your team or the other team, and that gives you incentive either protect your teammate as they're heading back to the base because they're going to be pretty vulnerable, or try to capture that person. And maybe there's some kind of rescue mechanic that happens to try to get hostages back. Very cool. Okay, what do you say? No, I mean pay up. You don't get him back. That's funny.
Yeah, they're gonna. If we do that, we're gonna get shot. I think if people can't play the game because they get ransomed, maybe if we introduce a hardcore mode one day, we could do something like that. But it's at the end of the day, it's still going to be a fun game for everyone. So we want to make sure that ejection should bring a penalty. Of course, you would lose your ship. Potentially, if we've got on the table, we've got random dynamic. We've got not random salvage, but I'd like to have real salvage in the game. And potentially, if you ejected from a ship, you'd leave your ship behind. To the other team could salvage it basically, and they could get a lot of money for it, which would be interesting
Yeah,
dynamic.
I think so too. I think there's so much we could do with this.
There is still on the drawing board, but in the original expanded design for the more role-playing elements, where who you take contracts with and who those contracts are targeting affects your reputation with different companies.
Yeah.
So if you've
cool.
been flying missions that are attacking Morrison Aerospace, then Morrison Aerospace really doesn't want to do business with you anymore. And so whatever ship you bought from them in the past isn't getting any upgrades, isn't getting any repairs. Or if you never had one of their ships, but you always kind of wanted one, they're just not going to sell it to you. But salvaging, capturing, you can get gear another way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're looking at some retention mechanics now that gives people a little credit bonus every day if they log in every day, and then a weekly bonus if they play a certain amount of missions per week. We're theoretically talking about tying that into corp loyalty, and depending on the missions you take. So yeah, like you can choose the missions that you take, and some are for Leith and some are for North Star, two factions that are fighting for dominance in the Saturn system. And whichever you play with more, it might give you bonuses on equipment. Like Leith is essentially black market, and North Star is like the real people involved. So depending on how you play, what weapons you use, theoretically, when we get nukes in, the black market would be better for nukes. Where more reliable weapons would be available for the North Star friends. That's not in yet, though. But we're definitely. I think it will get in. I think we're going to work real hard to get that in.
Nice, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I think there's so much potential here, and I think it's also well within the realm of possibility in terms of plausibility. I think this stuff would be really a lot of fun to implement, but it all depends on how we do, right? And how the player base is. And we also talked about a really cool way to reward day one players, which I think will help with awareness of the game in general. So we're going to come up with something I think that only players will get if you join the first day we launch on early access, and then it's closed. After that, not available to anybody. So it's a very special item. So we'll think about what that could be. Maybe it's some kind of cockpit skin. Maybe it's some kind of special skin for the Shrike. But we'll maybe it's a special bobblehead. We'll think of something.
That's a big maybe.
Which one?
Don't put me on the hook here, Edmar, for stuff that I can't promise right now.
Obviously, the most important thing to us is that when we launch, we have a lot of players, right? And I have definitely seen. We all come from game dev backgrounds. I've seen a lot of good results from. I think who did it most recently? Shell Games recently did it actually, where they had a special item only available for day one players. That's it.
I want it, but not at the cost of like a map or something.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course. I agree. Okay, cool. Here's some people commenting there. I'm putting the comments on the screen.
Yeah, I'm glad you can do this so we can see. Everybody's in. How many are in here? I can't see how many are watching.
I know it's hard to say because we're broadcasting to X, YouTube, and also to Twitch.
Yeah, I like seeing the feedback. Yeah, give us your questions, please.
Feel free to post your questions. We'll stay on here for a few more minutes. While we see if there's any more questions, I'm going to go over some quick updates. Like I said, that update from the tech team is pretty light this week, I'll be honest. But we had a holiday here. The notes they give me literally is it's like 10 words. Continuing work on early access. I'm reading this from their report to me. continuing work on early access. I had tracking is about 90% complete. We talked about that. There have been also network lag improvements, working with a great contractor from Ardent Blue, Alan. So thanks for your help with that. And also Alex has been working closely with him on that stuff. That's going to benefit everybody. Bloodsport, it's about 80% complete, and just planning for early access. So I'll try if I can get some. I'll try to get some more details from the tech team moving forward. I've talked to them about this before, but I really want to have these weekly updates be a little more detailed for the community and for myself. I mentioned on effects, Riot, he's hung up on a material issue, but it looks like the asteroids now are loaded upon launch, which is good. Yeah. And SP Ring Race, single player Ring Race, is implemented at a first pass.
Yes, I can explain what that is.
Yeah, is that Remco's work?
Yeah, Remco. A lot of people have asked for a way to test their flying skills, so we made a little obstacle course with rings that you fly through, and we'll put a timer on it.
It's great.
The only work that was involved is doing like a respawn if you leave the rings. So that's made it a little more complicated, but that should be in for early access.
That's awesome. That's great. Yeah, and so over the next week or so, we'll find out if this comes true next Saturday in the next briefing. But next week, the goal is to have Blind Spot and Open Space getting ready for early access launch. And speaking of early access, we've got a good question here right in the chat. I'll put it on screen so everybody can see a little bigger. Do you have a launch price plan for early access? This is such a great question.
$1 million. No.
It's such a great question. I think that I don't like to joke around pricing because I feel like this is such a sensitive area. No, I think no. Listen, man, I love Austin Powers, but I think it's such a important question, a community question actually, because you want to hit that right balance of you want to make sure that the team has the resources they need to develop the game, right? To make the game, we have to have the right people on the team working on it. I think that, yeah, that's funny. So I think that we want to have the resources so the developer has the money to be able to do their work or get paid as developers, of course. We want to make sure everyone's paid nicely. And then we also want to make sure that the game is as accessible as possible, right? So that we have the most players able to jump in and play the game, right? So there's a balance there. There's also a kind of emotional kind of thing with the price, right? Because if you make it too cheap, then people will think as a buyer, man, this game must not be too good. It's so cheap. And if you make it too expensive, you're gonna really lose out on the people who really would be a big part of the community. Super important. So my gut tells me this game, I think for the content we have right now, I feel like the game, I think it's worth $40. However, I think for early access launch, I think that launching at something like a $20 price point or $19.95, whatever the final to this dollar is, but I think a $20 early access launch seems much more fair, and I think it gives people it's less of a commitment for people to jump in and play. The other thing is we spent a lot of time and money on making the demo, which is free. We made it available free to everybody. The reason is that we want to make sure people really get what we're doing with the game by playing the demo first before they spend a penny of their hard-earned money on early access, whether it's $20 or $40 or somewhere in between. I think that to me that feels about right, but I'm really curious about what players out there you're thinking early access, like especially the people who've been playing the demo, maybe people watching who have the early access beta key, which we've been giving to Kickstarter backers and some other hardcore fans who have promised to give us good feedback. So let us know what you think. A fair price, a good price for the experience that we've been working on is worth.
Love to hear that.
What do you got? I mean, Jack, are you pretty you on the same page?
Yeah. When I see the other games out there, I mean, you see Arc Raiders coming out at about $40, which is a pretty good game, pretty deep game. You see Valheim at $30, which is another deep game. I definitely feel as an early access title, $20 is a fair price, and it's not something. I mean, most people have that without even blinking. Yeah. And it also, if we can, generate some decent sales, it can keep us going throughout early access. And so for me, that's a good price. But just looking at the demo from going, you'll say, why would I pay $20 when I have the demo? We're putting a map. Well, first of all, we're putting multiplayer in, which by itself is worth $20.
Yeah.
And we're putting my favorite map that we did not ship in two of my favorite maps that we did not ship with the demo, which is Badr Kali, the mining station, which is close combat.
Uh-huh.
And there's a reason we did put that in the demo, because you got to really be able to fly really good with that map.
So hard and so awesome.
It is. You can see the explosions really good, and it is dynamic as hell. I mean, it is really brutal. The combat is really awesome. And my favorite map is Blind Spot, where you're launching from a carrier and attacking an enemy base, and you're Leith versus, it's classic North Star versus Leith, and there's many approaches to go to play it, so it's infinitely replayable. But you're playing, and it's gorgeous too, because it's a moon that's been blown apart by antimatter explosions, and you can still see parts of it still moving. And you see Saturn in the background, but then they've got a hidden cool Leith base, and you have to blow the generators out to blow either the ship up or blow the base up. And that's really, really objective based, one of my most favorite maps. And just like I said, the Bloodsport itself is worth let alone you can now unlock ships. So to go from the demo, $20 is, I think, a small price to pay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great comment here in the chat. So I love this. We've been actually talking. YouTube. I'm sorry, I don't know how to correctly pronounce your nickname here. So I'll just say Mijim.
Take our money. We'll take it.
$40, $50 is honestly very reasonable price for a game like this. I do think that the game is as a $40 game, to be honest. But like I said, I think that to me, it's really important to have as many players playing as possible, especially we have a lot of content with multiplayer. As we all three of us know from our games, our work in previous multiplayer games, one of the most important things in a multiplayer game is that you have players in the game, right? How many times have we seen really cool multiplayer games that died because there were just not enough people in there to keep the fun going? So that's super important to me. I'd rather make less money from more people than more money from fewer people. I think that's just a good general kind of philosophy on business. In my sense.
I mean, as good as the single player is, and our single player, I feel, is very good. I mean, you see people saying they want to pay $50 for it, and we've had people that have 70 hours in the demo already, which is crazy, and more than most games.
I was so psyched to see that.
Yeah. This game was designed as a multiplayer game first and foremost. That doesn't mean we don't have a good single player game. Those of you who want to play single player only, it's there. It's awesome. But truly, the multiplayer is where the game freaking shines, because when you play against other players and the stuff they do and the maneuvers they do and the strategy they do, this game, it's a hard combat. It's first person. It's super action based. But really, to play this game right, this is a strategy game. You have to know where to go, the weapons to use, the right people to take out, who is wounded, who's not wounded. You have to be smart to play this game multiplayer. And I think, and our game is going to be 5v5. I see it almost like a League of Legends vibe, where you get your teams and you have certain roles that you play, and even if you play on the same map, it's infinitely replayable, because different people are trying different things and different, I'm going to be anti-missile. So I'm going to just go in with CWIZ. I'm going to be going in with railgun and hardcore assault weapons. And I'm just going to be the bullet sponge, and I'm going to attract their attention over there. And then that's what I want to see, is people that are teaming up and showing us essentially, procedures that they're doing and battle schemas that they're doing, and they're teaching us, and we're getting in there, because the single player is fun. I played the single player, I'm going on 1,400 hours on this game now, believe it or not, probably more like 1,600 with the demo. I still have fun with it. I mean, that's crazy. I was so sick of Crisis, like after Alpha, I couldn't even look at it, man. I couldn't even look at Far Cry after Alpha. It was painful for me to play that game. This game, it just gets more fun the more you play it.
Cool. That is so cool. I mean, some great comments coming here, I have to say. All right, let me see. There was one here so early. So we have actually this next comment coming in from Logan on YouTube. Will you have a way for players to donate for cosmetic extras to buy so we can further support development? I feel like on $20 for entertainment from just a demo. That's an awesome comment, and I feel like, you know, Logan, you're one of the fans. You're one of the fans that we are really like happy to have in this game, that we found you.
Yeah.
Because that's the biggest challenge with a studio like this. We're not publisher backed, so we don't have the marketing resources, the advertising spend to be able to get enough visibility around the world for players like you to see this. So I'm glad you found us. And we've been talking about this because I do feel like there's a way to do this in a very nice way, in terms of people who want to feel like their experience in the cockpit and their ship is more uniquely their own. So they have their own personal style and their own personal look. I think cosmetic extras are awesome, especially if you never allow any kind of gameplay advantage from any of these kind of purchases. So we've asked the team, we've actually many times during this progress, we've talked about cosmetics, and that is probably going to be, I mean, ideally, I think long-term, I would love for this to be a free-to-play game, and it's just monetized by cosmetics in the game. I think that's, you know, Rocket League did that. They started as a premium game, then they went free-to-play. It's done many times before. That would be great, I think. It would be hard for us to launch in that kind of, with that kind of design, because free-to-play requires a great deal of back-end data, business hookups. It requires a lot of daily analysis to support the live operations of the game. It's just very difficult, I think, to launch with that, especially for a team of our size. But I think as a goal, I think that would be really great. And I do want to have cosmetic. We talked about the fact that you can conceivably and plausibly in the game, you have customized sound effects, right? Because all the sound effects are created by the DSS, the decision support system. So there's no reason we can't customize that. But if they want to have a different style, same thing, visual effects. The visual effects that are broadcast on the cockpit glass, that or in your HUD visor, those can obviously be customized because that's all made up anyway, right? It's detecting things you wouldn't normally see.
Your Betty voice could be, you know,
exactly,
Samuel L. Jackson.
Totally. And that would be awesome. I think that would be great.
Well, yeah, we'll give Sam a call. I bet he'll jump right on this. Hey, Sam, come on, baby. We need you.
If there's a golf course nearby, he'll do it.
I would love that. I would love that. So I'm hoping the answer to this is yes. I hope we will have a way to donate. I don't know if we're going to have something, not donate, but something purchased for these packs. I don't know if we're going to have it at early access launch. I asked the team if that's a stretch goal I would like them to have, because I think there are going to be players like yourself, Logan, who would want to support this game and project. And we should invite that. I think that'd be amazing. It would really help. It would help Logan, the whole. That actually helps the whole player base, right? That income that's coming in from few players who want to do that actually is spread out to development team that can help everybody in the game. So
I would tell Logan too, the best thing you can do is purchase the early access. That'll be super helpful. Tell your friends to purchase early access and play as much multiplayer as you can.
Yeah, write a good review.
Write a review in, you know, YouTube, Steam, whatever. That would help us as much as you giving us money, to be honest, right? You know, not that it's not nice to have money, but that's what kind of the Kickstarter was for. And you know, we had amazing support. We love all our Kickstarter people. But yeah, just get the game, tell your friends, play the hell out of multiplayer, and write good reviews. And you would be helping us so much. That would be amazing.
Here's a good question from Twitch, actually. I think, Jade Vampire, you've been on the stream before, so welcome back again. I like the idea of the early adoption price. It brings more accessibility to more players early on and gives a lot of flexibility to the word of mouth. And the more players, the more people streaming it on Discord for their friends, the more reach of additional people wanting to adopt it. Yeah, I mean, that's the goal. I think try to make it as accessible as possible. Look at this. Dave Westerman is also in the comments, and he's live. He multitasking here. Dave suggesting at least $20 have a clue. I mean, the early, I don't know. Obviously, that's another good point though, because you have to build in some wiggle room for sales, right? So that's why you want to make sure the launch price is smart. So we definitely have some to think about. But I love these comments and these suggestions from the players.
Absolutely.
Okay, here's a good question from NK Powers on YouTube. Any mod support in the future? I would love this. The games I've worked on in the past, the team from Frontlines, they originated from um, a, um, a modding team that modded Battlefield 1942 into what's known as Desert Combat.
That was the
And
best.
it was amazing mod,
I
right?
loved it. It was better than the core game.
It actually, a lot of people say the same thing. So I think modding is just an amazing community of developers, and a great way to learn about game dev too. I would love to support that. That's really tough for us to do out of the box on day one, for many reasons. But that's something, again, like for the move to free to play eventually, I think modding is something that would really help give a lot of legs to the game. It gets people into the game because they need to have the base game to do the mod.
Yeah.
So I think I would love that. If you've got good ideas or you want to build a modding team and you have some experience, get in touch with us. Maybe you can be one of the first people we work with. Because another way to do this is you work with a small group of modders as very closely, so that you could bring in their stuff officially, to instead of having just an open platform, which takes a lot more work to support. But we can maybe work with a small team originally.
Yeah, you kind of need to build a map builder and a ship builder and stuff like that. So it's that definitely takes some time to get that right, and to make it so it's easy to use and fun to use.
Here's a great question about different editions. Do you have different editions planned, like a founders pack or something similar to Sports Studio? So that's something we have to think about. If we do have some kind of pack for early, I don't think, if we want to launch this sooner than later, this would slow us down, having that kind of stuff. So it's that balance, and we do want to get this out there as soon as possible. It could be something that we have in our roadmap. Jack has been working very hard every day on this project, and one of the things he's been working on is what is the roadmap once we launch on early access. What are the updates that are going to happen? We're shooting for every 2 weeks, but at least every month, a major update to the game during early access, right? We want to get out of early access as quick as possible. You don't want to stay in early access for years, in my opinion. You want to get out there. I'd say you want to get out there between 6 and 12 months. You want to get out of early access and launch the game. So that's what we're kind of working towards. So if we were to do this in the roadmap, maybe we would come up with a way during early access to have different packs, so that when we launch the game after early access, we do have these different packs available. But that's a great question. Let us know what you'd want to see in those packs. That would be super helpful, actually.
There's a question on third-person view I see there.
Oh, yeah, let me bring it up. So you have third-person view in the game. Would you say it's also viable? I've seen a lot of people just only play third-person.
I mean, we made it viable now because the HUD actually, outside of, you used to have it, you'd have to be in the cockpit to get all the information from the HUD, but we recently externalized that. So if you're not looking at the cockpit, you have all the information. So yeah, third person is totally viable. I mean, especially depending on the weapons you're using and the strategy you're using, you could win maps third person. Absolutely. I think first person is still going to be a little bit stronger mode. It gives you a little more information. As far as when you're sitting in that cockpit, you're seeing straight on as opposed to seeing at an angle for stuff like the railguns. So railgun at third person is going to be more difficult, but every other weapon would be just fine.
Amazing. Listen, we know it's also amazing have you and Dave on this live stream with me. It's so nice. I see we do have more viewers every week. We have more viewers. It's just so great to see. I know we mentioned Seaways a little while back. We have like everyone should know that the core team that works on this game every day, they're not usually on these live streams because I really want them to spend their weekend with their friends and family and rest and relax. And that's super important to me. So I asked them specifically not to come on unless they really feel an urgent urge to talk about something. But I also want to highlight, the members of the team and the work that they're doing. One of those members, Nathan, aka Flumpy Squid, he actually does really great videos. He does a lot of the videos that you see on social. He works very closely with our associate producer, Alec Wood, another great developer. One of the things they worked on this week was a video on CWIS, I think, weapons and CWIS. So I have not even seen this myself. So I hope this is good to show publicly. Let's see what it looks like.
Management of your weapon systems and their capabilities determines your combat effectiveness and survival in the battle space. In the Black's current arsenal consists of 3 core weapon systems: directed energy, kinetics, and missiles. Lasers are energy-based weapons with unlimited ammo and a maximum range of up to 10 kilometers when fired manually. Kinetic weapons such as GSUs, VDBs, and railguns deliver high-impact firepower across a variety of ranges. GSUs excel at intercepting missiles, while VDBs punch through armor at close distance, whereas railguns provide unmatched precision and power across the battlespace. Kinetic weapons and missiles carry limited ammo and require careful management and prolonged engagements. Missiles offer flexible engagement ranges depending on type and guidance, with an array of results and tactical use cases. Weapon groups are controlled through the number keys on your keyboard, allowing quick selection during combat. Each hardpoint on your ship can be assigned to a specific group within the ship editor. The close-in weapon system, CWIS, provides autonomous defensive fire against missiles and nearby threats. With a gimbal weapon group selected, you can toggle CWIS on or off by pressing V on your keyboard. Keep in mind, CWIS can quickly deplete kinetic ammunition if left unchecked. Lasers pair well with CWIS for this reason. Understanding each weapon's engagement envelope and maintaining efficient group management are key to controlling the battle space, and balanced coordination between CWIS and your primary weapons will keep your ship combat ready and you remaining in the black.
This is new. I had seen this shit. This
Yeah,
is a
he
good
just
one.
did this. He just did
That's
this.
great. Yeah.
Wow,
Awesome.
big
Good job,
shout out.
Nathan.
Yeah, big shout out to Nathan. And look, MK Power is saying, yeah, I've seen his vids, but I didn't know he's dev team. Yeah, he's definitely on the team. He's been on the team for years. Very, like many of the developers on the team, full-time jobs. So he jumps in his spare time when he can. So really helpful for his and grateful for his work on the project. That's a great video. So I think that's going to be posted to the social channels this week. So you guys got to see it first here. Okay, great. Well, listen, I want to thank you guys for coming on. I don't see any more questions. So I think we covered a lot of ground today. Go ahead, Dave. You guys say something?
I sent you some images if you want to share.
Oh, where'd you send them?
There's the org chart for the mega corporations.
Oh,
And
where'd you send it to me?
subsidiaries.
On Discord or somewhere else?
Discord.
Okay, let me bring up Discord. Let's see what you got here. Okay, where did you send it to me as a DM?
No, in the streaming channel.
Okay, cool. All right. Let me see.
So people have been asking for a little bit of lore.
Oh wow. Okay, cool. Jeez. All right, hold on. They're gonna love this. All right, let me see if this is. You guys can see this. Let me try this.
Quick, guys, come up with questions or save for next week. We'll be back next week too.
Okay, so let me see. I think this is gonna be hard to read. Let me see if I can make this bigger. I might have to save this. Let me open a browser. Let me try
I can read it. If you
Oh, wait, hold on.
screen.
I got it. Let me switch screens here.
Yeah, you can read it if you go full screen.
I'm going to share. Sorry, guys. I almost got it figured out. StreamYard trickery in the background.
You're the StreamYard master.
Here we go. Let me take this
That's
off.
better.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm making.
So here's our mega corpse.
So Dave, walk me through this. I've never seen this before. What is this?
Okay, so the leftmost column you see is at the top is the 5 megacore that dominate the solar system, and then that's all of their subsidiaries. And then the bottom row, the 2 bottom rows are the independent and unaligned corporations, and then the non-corporate entities that include organized crime, Letha, which is basically radical anti-corporate terrorists, the corporations would have you believe.
Or are they?
Yeah, or are they? And Enra and Zola are quasi-governmental. They're independent of the corporations, but they're basically to try to help mediate the corporation's behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've got embedded in this is a whole lot of lore that we plan to bring out over the course of development. And right now, the only factions that are represented in the game are North Star and Leith. So clearly, there's a lot more to come.
That's awesome. This is so cool.
And each of these companies, the subsidiaries, they run the gamut from shipbuilding companies, weapons manufacturers, electronic systems, transport, mining. Just each megacore tries to be vertically integrated and not need to do business with anybody else. But then the independent and unaligned corporations are the ones that are willing to work with anybody. So like OPSIS, for example, provides a lot of the advanced sensors and
They make the DSS.
and the DSS, yeah.
Man, that is so cool. I love this. And I think, Dave, you also shared a couple other things here. Let me see if I can bring this up on the screen as well. Yeah, this is from the Technical Compendium, I think.
Yeah. I've decided it's time to do another pass and maybe release it, but I thought we could share a few pages.
This is our original concept.
This is concept art from the very beginning of the project when it was still called Space Recon.
Yep.
We just weren't doing a lot of Space Recon, so we changed the name. And then we made a mission called Space Recon. So
yeah, I love this image when it came out.
Yeah, currently the full technical compendium is about 140 something pages, which that was after Jack decided that it was too big. And yeah, I shared another page with you, which is the first page of the section that explains our reasoning for realistic space combat that involves space fighters.
Yeah, this is great because this is a question we've gotten a lot, actually. So I can make it there so you can see everything. Okay, cool. So you should be able to read that. Very cool. I think that, yeah, the backstory of the game, some people, so we've all worked on games where a lot of thought and effort goes into like opening cinematics and backstory. And you know what happens? Maybe more. Half the people will look for the escape button and skip right away, right? Oh my gosh! And I can't tell you, I was in a feedback session. I think it was on Homefront, and we had a good chunk of the team was working on this intro cinematic. A lot of motion capture. We had voiceover actors. It was a lot of work, right? I can't tell you what it's like when you're watching this behind the glass and you're watching people play, and then the people who worked on these scenes, and they're like so excited to see what this player is going to react to the scene. And the second it opens up, they press the escape button and to see someone die inside. But only half the players skip it. The other half of players love it. But anyway, but my point is that I think a lot of players of this game are really going to appreciate the level of detail here that you're going into with these companies and the backstory, answering some of these big, larger questions about plausibility. To me, all of this makes a ton of sense. Nothing here doesn't make sense to me. And it's very believable from my perspective. So hats off to you guys.
We like to call it elegant.
Love it.
Elegant game design.
I
learned that as a professor of game design.
Well, you guys are very elegant. I really appreciate you coming on today. Really, really good. Always good chatting with you guys. And thank you to all the people watching and asking the great questions and providing some really, really inspiring comments along the way. I invite you all to come onto our Discord server. I think that is just the best place to engage with us directly. Also to basically chat with other community members is also really fantastic. Let me put this on the screen really quick. These are some of our social tags in the Black Game. The only thing that's different here is, let me see, on Twitch. Well, Twitch is not here, but on Twitch we're just in the black. But yeah, our Discord server is there.
Now that's not Twitter.
Oh, that's true. It's X. But the Discord address on the right there is correct. It's discord.gg/intheblack. I hope everyone out there takes a minute who's on Discord to jump on our server, say hello, give us some feedback. We talked about a couple of things today, including launch date, pricing. So launch date, we'll keep you updated. We're going to plan the live stream again for next Saturday. This week we did it on Sunday because I was traveling yesterday in New York City. But I think Saturday we'll do 11 o'clock Eastern again. Next Saturday we'll give an update, and I promise to get more information from the tech team on what they worked on this week. So more updates there, and hopefully we'll have some nice effects to show off. Thank you everyone for joining us today. It's been a lot of fun.
Bye.
Bye everybody.